Alrighty, here we are for episode 3. Um, we've taken out the first two bosses, now we are on our way to the third. And this is a pretty short section to the third boss, so it's not going to be quite a slog to get to as some of the others. There is one shortcut, but it is one of those pointless shortcuts through there, and you'll see what I mean when we open it. These guys, as far as enemies go, aren't so bad. As long as you can get your block timing down. Most of them aren't honestly horrible. My personal playthrough just completed the final boss of the game. And that one was definitely the one that took the most attempts. I will put it that way. It was solid. Also, I did realize later on in my personal playthrough how useful an item this can be, because they do not hold back with status effects later on. And it gets wild. Ooh, broke enemy weapon. Cool. Okay. And yeah, this is what I mean about the shortcut. You're only skipping, what, 3, 4 enemies? Yeah. Let me check our inventory real fast. We do have a quartz to slot. So actually, before we continue on too far, we are going to go take care of that. Just because any advantage is something you should always use. And honestly, the buffs from the quartz have they can really make make or break. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't think we even can slot them. Nope, not until we beat the next boss. Because Geppetto has not come back to the hotel yet. We only freed him. Okay. So, we'll continue on. That Legion arm does come in handy. There is one later on that I've come to absolutely love, but in the early stages, this one is fantastic. That I've found there aren't really any areas that you need the lamp. So we're just going to do this over it for now. Use that to give us a little bit of a boost over this guy. The next boss is super resistant to electricity, so using this stuff now is not going to be a problem.
Oh no. No survivors here. What do we do? Just give her that baby puppet?
Before we go to the boss, we are going to finish up that side quest real fast as well, because it gives us an item that, depending on which ending of the game you're going for, could be useful, or it could just be... Say switch. Oh. It could just be pointless. Okay, this is going to be the easiest way to get where we want to go, I think. And that's what I was talking about with being careful about your surroundings, because for some reason, well, for an obvious reason, your weapons have a tough time going through the set dressing. It's not super important that we have a ton of HP going forward, because I mean, we're just gonna go over there, give the lady the doll baby, and move on. So there are, real quick before I do this, the way to get the different endings, two of them are based on your lies versus honesty, and the other one does not matter, because it involves, basically, if you do a certain thing, you get a specific ending, but the other two endings you could get are in flux based on essentially your morality.
You found her, kind one. I could sense her from miles away. Oh, my sweet Elena. Please let me hold her. There, there, my baby. I missed you so much. What do you think? Isn't my baby adorable?
So, we're just gonna comfort this lady.
That's right.
We're gonna tell another lie, so our lie count is up to 2 right now.
Be my only wish. My sweet. Thank you.
So, the item she just gave us is a record, and records come in handy Basically, if you go to the hotel and use the record player there, you can then undo a lie at a time for each record you listen to. So it's a neat way to kind of balance the scales if you so choose, but anyone familiar with Dark Souls will know, well, Dark Souls 3 specifically. After beating Champion Gundyr, you can go get the Coiled Sword Fragment, and that is essentially what this is. The pocket watch that, yeah. Allows you to teleport back with your ergo. This is the record player here. You can check them in your possession. You do have to listen to the full record to get the benefit. So it does add some time to your run through. Let's take a look at this real fast. Okay, we only need like another 300 ergo for the next level up. So we'll sell off one of these chunks. Do we have any more upgrade materials currently? Okay, we do not have enough. Which is fine. Upgrade materials come in relatively commonly. Oh, I forgot. Later on in the game, you can start leveling up at Stargazers again, but that is not for a long ways down the road. Okay. So we're going to throw a point into our technique. And then now we've done everything we can between us and the boss. This next boss. I think there's, because of the shortcut, we have 4 enemies we have to kill, and then we can go right into the boss chamber, arena, whatever you want to call it. Alrighty. And because he resists electricity, we're just going to remove those right now, just so we have less things that we have to be somewhat mindful about when switching between gear. Apparently the block stopped that. Go up. One more sword guy here. We are gonna give ourselves a little boost because that Fable attack, in my personal playthrough, I didn't use it a whole lot, but that's because I didn't realize how good it actually was. There's another amulet for us. Basically, that amulet we just picked up will increase damage output on puppet enemies, which is all we've encountered so far, which is kind of nice. There are a bunch of different enemy types, but for now, we're good. So, this game does not feature any multiplayer at all. So you never have to worry about being invaded and killed if you're playing online. But you also can't call in help if you're meeting a boss that just absolutely walls your build. So it's kind of nice, kind of a pain at times. Because I can think of a couple of bosses that an extra hand would have been wonderful. But occasionally you'll see one of these basins before a boss door, and we'll show you what they do. I honestly think that the developers were thinking people may find this game more difficult than I do, and the only reason I say that is because my personal playthrough, the item that you use to activate these, the star fragments, I ended up with like 60 of them still in my inventory after beating the final boss. So your mileage may vary depending on, if this kind of game is something you enjoy, something you're used to. But let's take on boss number 3. So if you couldn't tell from looking at him in that opening intro, he's going to do electric-based things. Ooh. So yeah, activating that basin outside the door gives you this specter to help. Ooh. Yeah. So, something to keep in mind, the different status effects do different things, clearly. This electric shock one, if the meter gets full, it actually starts draining your Babel charge. So the blue bar under your stamina, if I haven't explained that already. Okay, he's in a... Yeah, when he does his grab attack, he gets immunity from damage for a little while. Oh, got taken down. The Spectre is useful. I've got a running theory as to what it is, because it's never explained. And if I remember to later on, when certain things in the story happen, I will share that theory. But for right now, I won't, because it could be kinda spoilery this early on. But we've done that. We picked up...
Wow, cool part you got there. Come here first. I picked up traces of high-powered energy originating far away. That's one. Why don't we make a Legion arm with it? Mr. Vanini is the expert when it comes to Legion arms. The puppets get fried easily by electricity.
So, in this instance, now we have a couple of different Legion arms we can use. I didn't ever really use this one, although electricity does come in handy against puppets. That was never one that I really felt a major need to use, so we're good. Now we can start slotting quartz. Come up here to Geppetto.
You've returned. Forgive a sentimental father for worrying about his son. Always remember that you're precious to me, even when I ask you to do something dangerous. Speaking of which, there's a factory just beyond the Lycian Boulevard. It's packed with countless puppets. My friend, the inventor Venini, went to stop them, but he never came back. Please, go save him and shut down the factory.
So this is gonna kind of
These
explain...
organs are the source of your powers. Collect quartz to get the strength you need.
So this is your mechanical heart. And basically, any quartz you pick up can be used
Remember, the hotel is the last safe place in
to
Europe. It's
upgrade
our only refuge
stats in a
city
way.
full of perils. It'll be extremely dangerous if anyone has ill intentions. Be careful who you tell about this place, especially if they're stalkers or alchemists. Be wary of dangerous people, and always be a good boy to me.
So, this is your full menu. Basically, you have to fully fill 2 things in this to unlock this one, and then same thing going all around. In New Game Plus, you do get a 6th set of options. But for right now, we're going to use this one. Okay. We're going to do that so that hopefully, theoretically, our charge attacks will help break enemy stances quicker. So with each node here, it's just what I'm going to call it, you can only get 1 of each type of thing, but and you can't double up. So like we can't hit this one 4 times in this grouping, but so it does force you to make some decent decisions. So we're going to go here, increase our ergo on defeating enemies, and now because we have filled that one up, our pulse cells have jumped up to 5 instead of 4. Just drop down right here.
Welcome to...
The item you get from, or the weapon and amulet you could get from this soul, ergo, whatever you want to call it, isn't anything that I used. So we'll just dump that so that we can get more levels.
Now that we have a moment, you must understand. The city is on its deathbed. The petrification disease spreads too fast.
and the puppets ran. Nobody knows what caused the disaster. Everyone in Krat is just trying to survive. That's why I found you. Our only hope, Geppetto's puppet. We're both unique. I am able to wield the power of Ergo. Power I used to call on you. That's all I can say for now. Please, save Krat. I'll use my power to help you.
So something I didn't start doing until probably much later than I should have is starting to increase my capacity. Carry weight. It doesn't really affect a whole lot from what I've seen. The thing to remember with carry weight is it looks like it only affects damage when falling, if I'm not mistaken. So, because you can go the highest weight I carried in my personal playthrough was like 72% capacity, and even then it was still saying slightly heavy, and it wasn't shortening rolls or anything like that. So I'm not 100% certain, even after completing the game, what it really affects. But boosting it up allows for more Legion. So your Legion arm has got more uses, basically. So if you want to, you can read everything you pick up. I don't usually. Let's see what time we're at. Okay, we still got like another 20 minutes that we can run through. So this door right here is where the demo ended. So anything beyond this point, if you've only played the demo or seen the demo, will be completely new. And
Here it is. The Nini works. Everything you see here belongs to the Nini, the classiest playboy and most brilliant inventor in Krat. Just ask him. Not just puppets. Almost every machine
we are
going to
run
Krat is
into
supplied from here.
a couple of new
I'm
enemies
curious about the guy.
in this
What kind
area.
of person is he? I wish we could find him. That is,
Like that thing right
if he's
there.
still kicking.
Ooh. So that enemy type will basically vomit on you, is the best explanation I've come up with so far. And we get introduced to another fun aspect of this game here. If you try to walk across this, it'll break and drop you down into the alleyway. So we're just going to avoid it, take this guy out so we don't have a projectile thrower when trying to take on the big guy. Or, well, we at least don't have that projectile thrower. Drop down, get him out of the way. much like Souls games in general, whatever you can do to make combat easier for you is what you should do. There is another guy that will be throwing projectiles basically right above where our head is. And there's that guy with the staff and wheel. So this guy will be kind of like the bigger brutes we have already fought, except he has the big wheel on his back that he will use as a weapon. Yeah, he's... up right now. Back here to get that. So the range of enemies that use projectile weapons is insane. Like, as soon as they clock you, basically they can hit you just about anywhere. Like, it is brutal and unforgiving. Yeah. It's lovely. Oh, yeah. That's one of those things that was hanging that was like, oh yeah. That's why I figured we'd take the first one out real quick. Yeah. Clear the bridge, and then we're gonna run back over here real quick. Think there's anything to worry about. But we're gonna pick up the phone.
Another fine day in the city of Krat, but I wonder, my friend, just where you've been? Oh. Congratulations! You've been selected from this cast of a little for an exclusive, obtrusive, intrusive transmittal. For me, Arlecchino, the king of all riddles. Now, you know what I'm called, and why I called you, and I want to know your name, but not till we're through. For as soon as I learn there's one riddle burned, and I do love a mystery, don't you? Now, only the living solve riddles, as everyone knows. That's a must. When your city is so full of puppets, it seems are about fit to bust. It's time for the riddle. No
Yeah,
more
this guy's a little
waiting.
long-winded
Thank you for
every time you quote-unquote
participating.
talk to him.
By morning, it walks on feet numbering 4. At midday, just 2. No less and no more. It walks on 3 feet when the evening arrives. And if you solve this, then I'll know you're alive.
So, quick explanation. By morning is the day is basically the life cycle. In the morning, you know, beginning of life, you're crawling around on all four. By midlife, you know, you're walking around on your legs, and by 3, a lot of people are, or by later on in life, you're using a cane. So that's why, you know, you got 4 legs in the morning, 2 by midday, and an evening 3.
Still, a promise is a promise. Arlecchino, tell him what he'll get. Thanks, Arlecchino. Caller, your correct answer has earned you a Trinity key. Doors and keys and doors, the subjects of puzzles and riddles galore. My next riddle won't be so simple to crack. Arlecchino's the king. Not some riddling cheap jack.
So you get the key, and then eventually we will find doors that have a special triangular type symbol on them, and you need those keys to access them, and inside there's usually a useful item. I think I managed to open all but one of them in my personal playthrough, and the only reason I didn't open the last one is I didn't backtrack to go find it, because I couldn't remember where it was at. I'm sure I could have just Googled it, but... For time. Doing pretty well on time. So here we have a couple options for paths. There's obviously it telling you to use electrical-based attacks on puppets. Here the damage starts to ramp up a little bit more, like difficulty in general. Now, the first time I walked through here, I did not realize that there were 2 extras. I went straight for the big guy and then ended up having to deal with all 3 at once. Yeah. These white puppets are a little bit tougher than your standard enemy, so keep that in mind. Big hit best we can on him right away. God, we are just not getting, there we go. So this will be a shortcut later on. Basically, we gotta work our way clear around to over there to drop this. We can go down here right now if you want to. I know that thing looks scary, but it's a lot easier than you would think. The biggest thing to keep in mind, though, is because it is inspired by Souls games, it's essentially a poison swamp area down there. So in that instance, we would use... Let's get rid of these. We would use this item to slow down our absorption of it, and if the meter fills, this item to completely remove it. And it starts up again. But because we're not going to do that immediately, we are going to go the other way. since we have enough for a level, we are going to bounce back. Because, much like Souls games, if you die, you drop all your ergo. But unlike Souls games, if you die again, you don't completely lose all of them. From what I've seen, you lose... I think it gets reduced by like half each time you die trying to get back to picking it up. Or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. It's not something that happened to me a whole lot in my personal run-through, so I'm not super sure about how it all works.
I'll use my power.
Grab another level. Looking at the time, I think we are going to call it right here for this episode and pick up. We should be able to get through the workshop, hopefully in one episode. So the next one, we will go up this path and continue on. Thanks for tuning in.